Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Nathan Capel. Today, we have a special guest, Faith Regan. Regan. Sorry, Faith. She
That's
was
okay.
recently named a national finalist for the ASA Staffing Employee of the Year All-Star Award. Faith works as an interim nursing home administrator in facilities across Florida and Georgia. She is known for stepping into tough situations and bringing stability and care to both staff and residents. Her dedication stood out during the back-to-back hurricanes of 2024, and Faith stayed on site through the storms to guide her team, protect residents, and keep operations running under some very difficult conditions. So we are honored to have her here today to share her story. Faith, thank you for joining us, and
Thank you.
congratulations on this recognition.
Thank you. I mean, it's awesome. I was really surprised when, I heard the news about it, because I've never been put up for an award before. So it was kind of cool. I still would have liked to win the big caboodle, but that's okay. This one's pretty good, coming in nine.
Well, you know what? You're a finalist, and that's
Yeah.
pretty special. So,
Yeah.
how did you feel when you first heard the news about being a finalist?
I guess I first of all was surprised, but then I was appreciative because I was appreciative to MedBest and FoxHire for actually thinking so highly of me to nominate me. So that's really what I thought. I was like all chilled inside, I guess, because of it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a pretty special thing to be recognized for such a crazy situation, but you definitely deserve the accolades there. So, would you please tell us a little bit about your background and what led you into senior living administration?
Okay. Well, I have been in this field since 1991, actually. I was a business office manager at first at a facility in Jacksonville. And while I was there for about 8 years. And I had the administrator said, I think you'd be a great administrator. Why don't you go back to school and get your license? So I did. And it was really cool. When I sat for my license, it was a very scary thing. But I did it about 2000. I think I got my license in 2000. And I left the industry for a couple years, going to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Florida in Jacksonville. And then I worked for the Navy for a couple years at NAS Jax Hospital, working as an analyst. Had a variety of things. And I also was an instructor with SIU, their off-campus programs, which were in the different places in wherever they have hospitals. So I did that. So I did a lot of different things. And then really after leaving the military, um, I really just trying to think, okay, what do I really want to do? Do I want to go back and be an analyst or do I want to do something different? And I said, I always loved being an administrator. I'm going to go back to the place where I started, the place that I loved.
Wow.
And that's what happened. I went back to it and I'm still at it.
Man, it sounds like you have a big heart for people.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah. So what drew you to work with FoxHire and MedBest specifically, and what has staffing meant for your career?
Well, I would say it's funny that I had when I was, let's see, with MedBest way back in 1990, Julie Rapinski owns the facility
Yeah.
or owns the company. So she owned the company at that time, and I was a business office manager at that time. She asked me to go to a place down in South Florida, and I did. And I always remembered she was very kind and very easy to work with, and I always remembered that. And then when I had an opportunity for a position that opened up, I said, "Why not? I'll try it again." Not that I've seen Julie again, of course, but because she owns the company, but
Yeah.
I did that then, so I that's why I went to MedBest. Now FoxHire is a different situation. They have a partnership with MedBest, so FoxHire really gets all the let's see, money, payroll, which is the most important, all kinds of benefits and everything together. They have a great system on the computer that you can put your time in. You don't have to worry about it. You always can see what your benefits are and all that. So I really like FoxHire. Yeah. So
For anybody listening to this, I did not put her up to that. She said that all on her own.
yes, I did. I did. I really like I really like the things that FoxHire has done for me. I'll give you an example. I had a situation when I was at a facility, I think it was back last year or back at the beginning of this year, that I had somebody that got into my account and took my whole paycheck. And if you had your paycheck taken, it's not cool.
Yeah.
So I got a telephone call. I think it was from Jamie. That I got a telephone call and I said uh, that this happened and they ended up reimbursing me on my check, even though they could never run the person down that actually hacked my account.
Wow.
So that is a big thing to me that I appreciate.
Gosh, that's so for anybody listening, Jamie is one of our senior level people here in FoxHire, and oversees a lot of the operations side of FoxHire. So I don't know if I was aware of that story. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm glad
yeah.
that happened.
I don't think they would say that much because it was something off kilter, but we ran it down and couldn't figure out how it got hacked. It got hacked sometime when I was actually driving to the facility from Jacksonville.
Hmm.
So they said, well, it doesn't seem to be your fault, and we'll try to get you lawyers against us. I said, great, I'm just happy that I'm going to get my check. That's
Yeah,
all that matters.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
So
that's
so sorry, go ahead.
it's okay. That's okay. That's all I have.
Oh, okay, okay. So my next question for you is, you've worked in a lot of facilities across Florida and Georgia.
Mhm.
What have you learned from stepping into so many different environments? What's like the big takeaway from a lot of those?
Wow, I've learned so much because every place you go to is different. They're all different. So what I do is I try to make a point of learning something while I'm there, because each facility being so different that you can always learn something new about why they do things. Um, like to name a few, I've learned how to work with CCRC, which that's a continuing community, which has the whole setup is under the executive director, and then the nursing home part is under the nursing home administrator. So usually the dietary, the maintenance, and what else was it? Yeah, there was another one I forgot. They are answering to the director, not myself.
Mm,
So it makes it a little difficult if you have an executive director that's going to be tough. Fortunately, I have a pretty good personality that I'm able to work well with people and I work well with everybody. So I haven't had a lot of problems, but you have to navigate that.
yeah,
Um, how you're going to work with these people on multiple levels of management.
yeah. And it sounds like, in talking with you already, leadership is an extremely important aspect
Mhm.
of your job, but not only your job, your life, really.
Yes.
It seems like you prioritize that quite a bit.
Yeah, I do. I think leadership is extremely important. First of all, you have to be a leader in your job so that people can look up to you.
Hmm.
And going to new environments and new places, people are not used to you. So they look at you like, okay, well, should I listen to this person? I know I'm supposed to listen to this person because the administrator and they're the boss, but do I so you really have to, when I first go in, I have to show I have leadership and I have knowledge and I have the ability to do this job for them to really buy into me.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Okay, well, let's talk about 2024. So you went through two or really three
yeah.
major hurricanes. It was Helene and Milton. I think before those was Debbie.
Yes, Debbie
Uh,
was a very minor one.
yeah. So and they were all really just like weeks apart.
Yes.
They were all within a couple week period. Where were you when that first storm hit, and what was going through your mind?
Well, with the first one with Debbie, I was at Concordia Medical Center, or that's what they call it, Concordia Village in Tampa,
Mhm.
which I never worked in Tampa before. So the way the state is laid out, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm in Jacksonville most of the time. Jacksonville is kind of like in. So whenever there's a hurricane that comes, hurricane goes this way and we're like this way. So we don't get hit that much. Tampa, we got hit dead on. So that was a little bit stressful.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was really my first time I was really involved in the actual disaster preparedness, disaster plan. I've been in different levels, but not as the administrator. So it was a different experience at all. So I was at the facility the whole time. Debbie, I was also. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. It's part of my job is to be there as long as that storm is going on.
That's some real dedication. And I don't think a lot of people could handle that level of stress probably as well as what I've heard that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Um, so during those storms, it sounds like you stayed on site for over 36 hours straight. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, it was fun. And the interesting part of it is I lived there and it was a CCRC, so it had the nursing home and then it had an independent living. So I was in a room in the independent living. I could have very well have left and gone over to my apartment.
Hmm.
And actually, once I got back to my apartment, I'm like, oh, nothing's happened here. This is great. I wish I had. But I stayed there, and what happened is that we had a lot of wind and rain and everything. So we spent most of the night just trying to battle the storm and battle the floods because there was a big storm surge of water, and there was water all over the place.
Jeez.
And we actually, I tried to get some sleep while I was there, which I think I approximately 2 hours ended up being when I was on a one of those inflatable beds I had. And I put it out in my office. I'm like, okay, blankets, everything, I'm all set. And then I saw the water coming out from underneath the door. And I'm like, oh, darn it. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't sleep on the floor now. So I got up into my chair at my desk and fell asleep with the chair in another chair with my feet up and fell asleep for a couple hours.
Wow. Did you say that it was an inflatable mattress?
Yeah, it was one of those inflatable mattresses.
Were
Yeah.
you afraid of getting carried away into
Yes,
the?
I did. Thank God the door was shut, so I didn't have to worry about it. But yeah, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to get carried away here.
Wow, wow. That is a pretty wild experience. Was that the same for all three hurricanes that way?
No, actually, the way it worked is Debbie really wasn't too bad at all. It was just like a rainstorm or, thunderstorms. Um, Helena was worse, of course, because it was a hurricane. It was a category 5 hurricane, but it hit up on the north of Florida in the Panhandle section.
Mhm.
So we just got the remnants of it on the side. So, which is bad enough, but still, it's just, hey, we're Floridians, you're
Yeah.
used to this.
Yeah.
So, but Milton hit us dead on.
Mhm.
Tampa, dead on to Tampa and Tampa Harbor, and we felt it. We
Yeah.
definitely felt it.
I bet it was pretty hard to get some sleep that night, huh?
Yeah, I don't think I really did. We actually had a great team. They ran around the facility like I did, trying to keep the doors shut, the sheets and pillowcases and everything that we had with underneath the door so it would stop the water,
Hmm.
and which it never did. Um, and then we made sure all the residents were not on the first floor. They moved up to the second floor.
Yeah.
So everybody was safe. Um,
Yeah.
and we also had, I have a big thing about having the family members of my staff. I want my staff to be there. I need as much help as I can. So I always say, bring your family member. We'll find a place for them. You feel more comfortable because they're here with you. And that worked. So we ended up having family members help us too. It was a great experience that way.
Yeah. Was there any kind of, and I'm deviating from the
Yeah,
questions, I hope
that's
you don't
okay.
mind, but was there any kind of uh,
Damage?
Coast Guard or
Oh,
police or anything helping you guys?
no, no,
No.
not at all. Not
Wow.
at all. They're
You
too
guys were
busy.
on your own.
And I would never ask the first responders because they're trying to help people that are stuck in their houses, have whatever. I was fine. We were fine. The only thing we had is we had water that went up to the doors and beyond the doors. Uh,
Wow.
we had a walkway. You come out the door, you go down, and you go down, and you walks into the ground, and it went all the way up to the doors. It was amazing. I've never seen it like that before. Come up so fast. They said there was 5 inches in 1 hour.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, it was tremendous. And another deviation a little bit is that everybody had their cars under in the parking lot, and there was like 3 levels.
Hmm.
The first level was like down where that ground level is that I was talking about. and that second, then they had second level, and then they had a third level. Well, my husband always gets on to me about making sure the car's okay and I'm okay and everything. So he says, make sure you have the car moved to somewhere that it's not going to get. And I'm like, I'm fine, everything's fine. At like 12 o'clock midnight or something around there, I'm seeing the water come up and up and up, and it's going up to the cars. It went up to where the tires were. I said, okay, I got to move.
Yeah.
It ended up going up into the engines and everything. There was bunches of cars that were totaled.
No way.
Yeah, it was a real mess.
That's wild. And so
Don't ever buy a car from Tampa.
good to know. Noted. So I mean, so what were some of the biggest challenges you and your team faced, like power outages, flooding, obviously,
Mhm.
staff shortages? I'm sure there was plenty of those. What were you seeing that was probably the most challenging thing for you?
I would say the water. Water was the most challenging. And it's kind of interesting because you hear that all the time when they talk about storms. Be careful. The water is the most dangerous thing. And I think there ended up being like 65 or 55 people that died in that storm. And it
Oh.
just, that water came up fast
Hmm.
and strong. And you can't stop it. You
Yeah.
can't stop it. So that's the first time I've ever been in that kind of a situation. Staff was fine because I had already had them in the facility. They were all comfortable and they were had their families there, so they were fine.
Yeah.
The residents, we had already told their family members that if you want to take your resident home, by all means go. But if not, we will definitely take care of them and they will be fine here. The power, we didn't have a problem because we had a hospital right up the street. And if you don't know how intersection works, hospitals are the first ones to get their power back.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So if
Okay.
you're ever near a hospital, you're going to have power back very quickly.
Good. Okay. So you guys were on the same grid or something.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So as soon as they had the hospital, I think we went out for maybe 10 minutes. The
Yeah.
generator kicked in. In Florida, they have a regulation that it has to be 72 hours worth of gas in the generator and everything. So we were fine. We had no problems at all.
Now, you did say in your Q&A that to ASA that many of the residents rely on the powered medical equipment,
Mm.
stuff like that. So, how did you and your team keep them safe through that chaos if power went out or you guys had a generator? How'd that all work?
Um, the biggest thing was we had an independent living that was connected to it. And independent living, you have sick people like you would at home. If you have a home and you have grandma doesn't want to leave, doesn't want to go to nursing home, doesn't want to go to an airlift, wants to be there with caregivers.
Hmm.
That's what they had there. And of course, they had a nursing home assisted living right there for them. So they transferred a lot of the people that were oxygen dependent over to the nursing home because they knew that they could handle it.
Hmm.
We, in every nursing home, you have red plugs, they're called their emergency plugs,
Hmm.
and you plug whatever, the oxygen or whatever, and it will stay the whole time. It runs on the generator.
Wow.
So before, when we were preparing, the facilities manager and myself went throughout the building, checked all the red plugs to make sure they all work, everything was okay. So all of them were fine because they were into the red plugs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And was the generator inside your building, outside? Was
No,
it?
it's outside. It's right outside the building. And
Okay.
as I said, we have to have 72 hours that it runs.
Got
And
it.
it just so happens, I guess it's one of your other questions. It just so happens that they had like 2 months before I got there, they had a gas leak where the generator had leaked into the elevator and everything, and they had to totally evacuate the whole facility.
Oh, boy.
So,
Oh, jeez.
that's what was my first thought is I do not want to evacuate. I
Yeah.
know how difficult this is. It's extremely expensive. It's difficult for all involved, and I don't want to evacuate. So we need to do whatever we can to keep everybody safe, not evacuated.
Jeez, I can't imagine what would happen if the generator had not worked or something. That would have been whole other. I'm sure we'd be talking a whole different
Yeah.
situation right now.
Plus, we would have gotten cited for regulation because you have
Oh,
to have it.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. The was it 5 Days at Memorial
Yes, I
or
did.
or
I thought that
show?
was a great, and I thought about that after when I was talking about it being having that power grid go back on. I'm like, why? Why didn't they do? But I knew that their generators were down below water. And
Yeah.
that was half of their problems is they had everything below water, which I was saying to myself, what the hell? Why would they do that? You don't want me to watching something like that because I'm just critiquing it the whole way.
All right. Well, and I'm sure that probably forced some updates and regulation. I'm,
I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I'm sure in New Orleans it had to have. I said,
Uh,
what?
so communication was probably tough with families and outside agencies, especially with limited energy and the hurricane and satellites and reception. So how did you guys keep informed when the usual systems went down?
Well, like I said, we didn't lose electricity and I had the TV on in my office 24/7. I had it
Okay.
on watching the weather.
Nice.
And everywhere around the facility, we had the TVs on watching the weather. So we could see what was happening when it was happening.
Mhm.
When we had to notify the families and everything, like I had said, we did that before the storm even hit, when we're doing preparing for everything. So that when that storm hits, only thing we're doing is fighting the storm, and we don't have to worry about anything else because it's all taken care of. The food is, the meds are, the people are, everything is all set. That's what you have to do in a disaster like that. And of course, Florida, we know how it works.
Yeah. Well, I bet you're pretty proud of your team, and how they pulled together. Did you notice anything unique about how they pulled together?
Well, let's see. I could tell the ones that were going to. We had a couple of them that didn't, just kind of stayed in their office, didn't want to deal with things. But I could tell the ones that were going to. And because I'm an interim, I didn't stay there. But I think it was like 4 months. But I said in the meeting, we have like a meeting afterwards that says, okay, how did we do? How things go? The executive director wants to meet with everybody. And I made sure I said, we have a fantastic team. They did a great job, and I'm extremely proud of them. I wanted them to know that I appreciated everything they did. And I'm not going to be here, come here, but I know what you did, and I appreciated it.
Yeah. I mean, but you too, it takes a strong leader to be able to kind of rally your team like that, and a lot of emotional strength with that. And so I guess my next question to you is, what kept you going when things were uncertain and exhausting?
Wow. I'm having more of that kind of stuff happening where I am now than I did then.
Oh
Uh,
yeah?
yeah, really. Well, I just kind of, sometimes I think I felt overwhelmed, but I call my husband when I feel like that because I don't want to take it out on anybody. So I call him and I say, Joe, this is what's going on, da, 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 da. And he kind of talks me down and everything's goes. Been married 40 years. He knows me well enough. So,
It's always good to be rooted with somebody like that, just to kind of keep you based.
yeah, yeah. So he does help me with that. And the few times I've said something to somebody and I didn't talk to him, he says, "Why didn't you call me? You should have called me. I would have taken care of it and you wouldn't." So, yeah, I've learned my lessons.
Uh, Sounds like a good guy.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy.
Yeah. So looking back, I mean, what are you most proud of about yourself or about the situation from that time?
Wow. That's hard to say too. I think I was proud of the team. I was proud of that everyone pulled together. We got the job done. That was the biggest thing is we just pulled together and made it happen. They looked to me and as the leader as to what they're supposed to do, but then they just pulled it together and made it happen. Actually moving the residents upstairs to the second floor, I didn't even say anything. It was one of the department heads that said, we need to take everybody up to the second floor. And I'm like, you're right, go ahead, do it. So it's just everybody just did it all together. You know, I feel like it's a part of my job. That's what I get paid, as I say, I get paid the big bucks for.
Yeah.
To be the face of leadership, to be the one that's steady when everything is going crazy around you. That is my job, and I take it seriously.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into my next question. And I mean, you're already speaking to it. But what can you tell me more about what that means to you as a leader, for people to rely on you so much?
Hmm. Wow. I never really thought of it like that. I think I feel honored that people feel that I can do that.
Yeah.
I've been doing this job quite a bit, and I have to tell you, I was green as a cucumber back, when I first started out, and you don't know anything. And it's kind of like what I've always said, you don't know what you don't know, even. You
Yeah.
just don't know anything. So as the years have gone by, I have really been able to look at everything I've done, look at the things that I want to do, and kind of say, um, well, I've learned this, I've done this. I'm constantly reading the regs and reading everything to keep updated, and I just do the job.
Yeah.
Essentially, just do the job.
Well, so how did those experiences shape the way that you see your role today in healthcare staffing?
I love healthcare staffing, first of all, because it's an interim role.
Yeah.
And not everybody likes to move around
Hmm.
and not be with their family and all that, but I like it. I like moving around. I like seeing different places. I like meeting new places, and sometimes I like being away from my family.
Sure.
So it's really really very good for me, and I plan on doing it for quite a long time to come, at least until I retire. And then I really enjoy this way of doing things. I can go into a facility as an expert, as a person that can problem solve and deal with situations that come along, and then get it all ready for the next person that takes over.
Yeah.
Like this, the place I'm at right now, it has a lot of issues, and it stems back from a person that used to be here that was a new administrator.
Hmm.
As I said before, new administrators don't know anything. So they don't know how to be a leader. They don't know how to do things. So um, I had to really get in there and make sure the staff are doing what they are, that we're doing the regulations, we're doing this, we're doing that. And on top of that, the higher management decided that they were going to get rid of three positions, just
Oh boy.
eliminate them. So we had to figure out, okay, who's going to do those positions? Yeah, it's a bit of a thing, bit of a
Yeah.
uh, experience, but I'm learning how to deal
Yeah.
with that. So that's
Yeah.
okay.
Lifelong learning is a great thing.
It is. It is. Absolutely is.
So, we are kind of coming to the end of this a little bit, but what message would you like to share with others who might be considering a career in healthcare staffing or leadership roles like yourself?
I would say, don't ever feel scared of the unknown because it's a whole lot of unknown when you get into this kind of a role. You're going from one place to another to another. So you're starting all over again every place you go. So, the first day you walk in, you're like, okay, I've got to meet all these new people. I got to have them respect me. I've got to figure out what the problems are. I got to deal with all this. Usually within a week, and that's what I usually say to the people I'm working for. I'll have it down. I'll know what is going on in here.
Mhm.
Basically, a high level of what is going on and what needs to be fixed. And that's all I do for the next period of time is fix it.
Yeah. So in the interim world, it sounds like you're probably going to stay with interim for a while.
Yeah,
And it sounds like you love leadership and
yeah.
all that stuff. So, what is next for you in
Wow.
this space?
Um, just keep on going as an interim. At least for the next few years, I will. I get new experiences. I live in new towns, new cities, all that kind of stuff I've always wanted to travel. I didn't think I'd travel from, like um, Augusta to Atlanta, but I've had experiences in both. I mean, right now I'm in Atlanta and it's in the Buckhead area, which is millions and $1 million homes. So that's real cool. When I go down there, I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, I'd like to have that house, knowing that I never ever would afford it. But when I was in Augusta, it was so cool because it was at the time of the Masters. Never been anywhere that had this big thing. They have the GPA, no, PGA in Jacksonville, but it's at the beach. Kind of, they don't go down there. You don't really deal with it.
Hmm.
Here, they did. Everybody dealt with it. And all I heard was, be careful because you don't want to go on the roads. It's all crazy. And half of my department heads took off for the week. It was really quite an experience, but I enjoyed it immensely.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. Well, Faith, uh,
Come to an
we
end.
what's that?
We come to an end.
We are coming into an end, and I don't know if I have enough time for any kind of closing statements or anything from you, but this has been a real honor to be able to speak with you and do this interview, and I can't wait to hear other great stories come from you, especially in the role that you're in. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more to come.
Yeah, I think so. As an administrator, I have things all the time. I'm sure something will come along.
You know what? I think at some point we ought to do another podcast with you, and you can talk about your roles in the healthcare space. I think that would be really good
Oh,
for some of our listeners out there, especially those who are hiring people like you.
yeah. I think it's great to start as an interim, like as a company. It's good to have an interim come in because an interim can find your weaknesses
Yeah.
and your problem child and all those things and deal with them. And then when you decide to hire somebody permanently, that place is fixed. It's all ready to go. Your policies and procedures go and all that stuff is all ready to go. So that's what
Okay.
I've tried to do while I've been here. And I think they have very much appreciated it while I've been here. That, they're starting out and everything will be okay. Firing people, doing all people sleeping, firing people, that kind of stuff. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Well,
it's a fun time and a not a fun time.
well, Faith, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you,
with me,
Nate.
and for everybody out there, hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next recording. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Nate.